the best way to start learning Japanese?
The best way to start learning a language is to get into the...
Swati, welcome to our channel.
Thank you so much. I'm extremely delighted that you called me out here, and I would love to help out people if there are students who are looking to work in Japan or study there. So I'm happy to connect in whatever ways it is possible.
Thank you, Swati, for taking out time. I'm sure this video is going to be very helpful for any of you if you are a currently student who would pursue a corporate career in Japan, or you are thinking of learning Japanese language. So as I said, Swati has also been a Japanese language teacher and a very good Japanese teacher at that. So there are some questions that I would like to ask you, Swati. So what is the best way to start learning Japanese?
The best way to start learning a language is to get into the culture.
That's a brilliant answer. Don't start with hiragana. I think it's much. I mean, do that parallelly, but it's important to find your motivation in something else.
Yeah.
Right?
Because of course, you have to do the script, you have to learn it, you have to do the grammar, vocabulary, everything. But because you cannot really, there is only limited things that you can learn from, just the grammar part. So whether it's anime, movie,
Manga,
songs, culture, anything, I knew somebody who got into Japanese by getting interested in the Japanese way of doing block printing.
Oh wow, yeah, that's very popular.
I still don't know what that is, but I mean it worked for somebody just because
I like Japanese history, for example. So that was my way of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. So Swati, how should one focus on vocabulary first or grammar? Is there any structure that they can follow?
I think first thing that you would like to catch is vocabulary, or small phrases that you use. Once again, if you're listening anything if you're watching any media or something, so you'll get familiar with the commonly used words or phrases. So if once you grow familiarity with that, that's when you hop on to the grammar part.
That's right.
And once you have a sort of sahi sa grammar ka structure, then you go on to the more difficult aspect of, let's say, context or passage.
And honestly, grammar, I think that comes much later, right? I mean, the patterns, etc. Just by speaking or listening more, you can adapt to grammatical patterns.
Yes.
So Swati, many of our viewers, they are learning Japanese, but they are in India.
Right.
And it is difficult to brush up your speaking and listening skills when you are not in the native country.
Yeah.
Any tips for those students?
Build a circle with your classmates who speak Japanese. So when I used to teach, I remember I often used to say that when you're in the class, try speaking Japanese. It doesn't matter, because the actual problem is that after leaving the class, after those 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever time you're studying, we don't have an environment where you can practice it, which is exactly what the question is. And that's the thing, you have to come out of your bubble. For that, you need to practice, you need to go. There are also apps like Hello Talk or those things. So I see many young people practicing through that.
They make friends basically.
Yeah.
On Hello Talk, you can make friends with native Japanese and practice.
Yes, you have to practice it.
How long does it take to master Japanese? This is such a tricky question.
This does not happen, because there are people who speak years and years, and you cannot master. Can you master a language? I don't know.
No.
But for
especially Japanese.
I cannot master Hindi too. So, but for basic fluency, I would say that if you have a chance to live in Japan, it can be as quick as 2-3 years.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're doing diligently everything from a far off place, for example, if you're doing everything in India, it can take you a little more long, maybe 4, 5, 6 years. So
My suggestion would be to go on a short term exchange. I mean, that can at least give you a perspective, the tone,
Yeah.
right, the awareness of context
Yeah.
of the language,
Exactly.
which is impossible to get here.
Yes, exactly. And not only that, like, going for a short term, for like, whether you go by work or for hobby, traveling, anything, it just like, it helps you see the reality, because
Yeah.
even if you like anime and you go to Japan, it's not anime over there, right?
Yeah.
And there will be so many things that like, help you actually think and analyze, can I really be here for long term? Or do I really want to be in this industry? Or like, it's actually working out for me.
Mm.
And for that, being in that society, it's a really huge plus, because there are so many people who have these things that they come to Japan, and after 6 months, I received text from him like, Sensei, hum ja rahe hain. And
Yeah.
and I would tell, but it's just 6 months, and are you sure? He's like, no, it's just so different from what I had read or what I had seen on the TV.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. Sometimes I do try to tell them that, like, but to me, try to karke dekho, do something else, like, meet many
6
people.
months is too early to give up, It takes 6 months to adjust anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kanji. So, kanji scared everybody, right? So, any easier way to practice and master kanjis?
I think in present time, there is really no place where you have to actually write the letter itself.
Yeah.
Because you're basically typing.
Typing, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why they teach you in schools is because that's how you remember it.
Mhm.
A good way to remember these things is, and that's how we learn Hindi and English as well, you write a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think we write it. So there is going to be some sort of a hurdle, because we just don't have any pictorial characters in our language. But many times, if you break down kanji into the smaller parts, you'll find a few things which line up with
the meaning, context.
the meaning, context. And after a certain point, let's say after N3, what you'll realize is that kanji, maybe there are certain parts which have those meanings, and if that part is there in any kanji, that means it's related with either that meaning, or sometimes they even have the same reading.
Yes. So, which basically takes us to the point that you must know the culture. So, if you can understand the context of the kanji, it's easy to navigate long passages.
Long passages, yeah.
Brilliant. So, basically, don't worry too much about, mastering each and every stroke. Rather, if you can just focus on each part of kanji, radicals, basically.
Correct.
And if you can understand what those radicals mean, as long as you know them and know the reading, you're good to go.
Yes. You have to break it down rationally, practically, and then you have to at least be able to identify the character.
Yeah. So, Swati, from your journey, if you have to give one advice to students or professionals who would want to work in Japan, what would it be?
Right. So, I think Japan is a country that values freedom that people have. Right. So, it is a very good destination to actually explore many things. So, it is safe. They have a very robust, good infrastructure, so that you can feel secure whether you're inside your house or whether you're outside. The career opportunities, you can go into different industries, and you can make something out of yourself, even even if you're not clear at the time of your graduation. So given all of that, it is a fantastic destination to actually go and explore options and grow your career, grow as a person, grow grow into something that you really wanted to be.
Great. So, Swati, one last question to you. If you had to do one thing differently in your career, what it would be?
Nothing.
That's great. That's a great answer. And I will leave it at that. Thank you, Swati. Thank you for coming here. It was great having you.
Seriously, thank you
It's
so
always
much.
so nice to meet you and share these.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone. So I hope this video was helpful for you to understand the work culture in Japan, the job market in Japan, and whoever is planning, gambatte kudasai, please work hard and find your place in Japan.